We talk a lot about romantic love. We celebrate it, we market it, we script it, but covenant love, the kind that actually sustains a life, rarely gets explained. And I think that's why so many women crave Hallmark romance. Not because women are shallow, not because we're unrealistic, but because we're aching for something we don't have language for. Hallmark romance promises presence, being chosen, being pursued, being seen and cherished without having to beg for it. And at its core, that longing isn't foolish, it's actually theological. Women crave romance because we were created for covenant. But when covenant isn't modeled, romance becomes the substitute. And the church hasn't helped much here. We talk about covenant like it's assumed knowledge. We talk about romance like it's dangerous. And we rarely show how the two can coexist. So let's name the tension honestly. Covenant love isn't talked about much because it's slow, it's unglamorous, and it doesn't photograph well. Covenant love is built on faithfulness when feelings fluctuate, on obedience when desires wane, on character when chemistry fades. That doesn't make it less meaningful, it just makes it more demanding. And here's where people get stuck. They think that they have to choose either passion or faithfulness, or romance or covenant, either chemistry or commitment. But scripture never makes that divide. The problem isn't wanting romance. The problem is asking romance to carry what only a covenant can sustain. And yes, if you've read the Bible carefully, you know this already. There are very few model marriages in scripture. Let's think about it. Adam and Eve hid from each other. Abraham lies about Sarah. Jacob loves Rachel and wounds Leah. David's desire destroys trust. Hosea's marriage is faithful, but also devastating. The Bible is brutally honest. Human love is fragile. And that's the point. Scripture doesn't give us perfect couples because it's not trying to convince us that marriage saves us. It's trying to show us that God does. The most faithful love story in the Bible is not a man and a woman. It's God and his people. A God who pursues when people wander, who remains when they betray him, who keeps covenant even when love is not returned. That is why covenant love doesn't start with butterflies. It starts with promise. And here's the hope in that. You can have both. Romance is meant to be the expression of covenant, not the replacement for it. When covenant comes first, romance is safe. It doesn't have to manipulate, it doesn't have to rush, and it doesn't have to perform. Romance rooted in covenant becomes delight, not demand, joy, not pressure, and affection, not anxiety. And this matters deeply for women because when covenant isn't taught, women learn to chase after romance so they feel chosen. They learn to endure instability because it feels passionate. But covenant love does not ask you to bleed to be beloved. Covenant love creates peace, not because it's boring, but because it's secure. So maybe the question isn't, why do women want romance? Maybe the question is, why aren't we looking for a love that's strong enough to hold both desire and devotion? Valentine's Day celebrates feelings, but scripture invites us into something deeper. A love that chooses, a love that stays, a love that reflects who God is, a God who keeps his covenant to his people, even when we're messy. And that's the love story culture never warned us about because it doesn't sell cards, but it can save a marriage.